Welcome back, guys. This is another update to the Yuc CAN build. I haven't done too much other than add the DC to DC charger, and I'll go through those steps that I took here in a minute. I also added a new fridge from Bodega. It is the drawer fridge, and there are pros and cons to having a drawer fridge. I'll go over that as well at some point. Maybe not in this video, but at some point I will. You'll have to excuse the mess that's inside right now. Obviously still doing a lot of work. You'll see that there's rust at the back there. I'm working on fixing that. It's not anything from the Yuc CAN or the truck itself. I don't know what happened. I think there was some metal that I had in there from my old CBI bed bars that have started to get rusty in some aspects. So if you can't hear me very well right now, I apologize. It's very windy out. I have the windsock on the camera, so hopefully that is doing its job. So let's climb up inside here and take a look at the DC charger from Renogy. So in the last video, I showed you guys where my battery placement was going to be. Kind of talked roughly about what I was going to do with the MPPT DC to DC controller that I have from Renogy. This is a 40 amp one. I'll put the link in the description, as well as a photo of it on screen for you now. But this is how I've mounted it. I know there's going to be a lot of perfectionists that probably skim through this video and they see my mess of wires that I got going on here. I am going to fix that at some point, but just for the interim, it's in there like it is now. This solar controller, or this DC to DC controller I should say, comes with these types of butt connectors. I'm not a real fan of them. You have to get them really, really hot, and I don't have a heat gun, so I was just using a butane torch. It seems to have done the trick. This specifically is for the solar hookup for outside. This is obviously for the battery in the house. This is for, you know, from the truck side. So again, not the greatest setup. I've zip tied one of the breakers up out of the way there, but it's gonna get cleaned up eventually. I have hide a wire that I'm gonna use and some wire looms to clean up this mess here and to clean up this mess in this general everything. So the good news is the cabinet is closed 90% of the time, and so you shouldn't really have to worry about seeing it. I've added some wonderful little Velcro over here for a lot of my park patches. I have another park patch over here on the other side as well, so I'm starting that collection. But also hide a wire will be placed down here to hide that as well. Don't mind the mess of rust that's down there. That's from a bracket from my CBR bed bars that I believe rusted at some point. As you can see, it's pretty rough condition. It's caused some rust to develop around the outside here, but nothing that I can't fix from the inside, so not too big of a deal. I'm not really all that concerned about it, if I'm being completely honest. So, you know, let's take a look at how I've set this up. Again, not a professional. I just did what I thought was best for me at the time. And, you know, with that being said, I definitely made some mistakes. And thankfully, I've learned enough now that when I go to hook up my brother's DC to DC charger, I shouldn't have any issues with it. I should be able to do it right the first time. So, you know, there has been some other updates. I added a couple Western style pillows. I have a Western style blanket that I'm going to put down here. A lot of people online really like the fact that I'm using one of the bed panels as the bench seat, especially when I sleep here by myself. I don't have to put this bed panel back up. I can leave it down there. I can sleep on this side, get in and out without having any issues. So yeah, let's go ahead and pop the hood and I'll show you kind of how to hook it up. Now, I will say, you know, there's not really anything that I can say on this video that you can't learn just by looking at the Renogy instructions. The Renogy instructions are fantastic. They are very straightforward, and basically any idiot, self included, can do it without making too many errors. Fucking loudest ass truck in the neighborhood over here. Fucking city. Jesus. Okay. Yep, that's an engine. So here's my first breaker that I've put on. This goes between your battery and the battery in the back, which we'll call the house battery. And then you have your negative cable, obviously, that also runs from the house battery to your negative terminal on your starter battery. This DC to DC charger doesn't require you actually wire anything up to the alternator. So that's the reason why I went with it. And I ran the wires, it's gonna be hard to see, but I ran the wires kind of down here. Look at those beautiful peaks. Anyways, down here, zip tied them down there in behind the e-brake. This is also going to be fixed. I have to definitely come up with a better solution of tucking those wires in behind, because when I turn it full lock, obviously you guys can see I rub a little bit down there. But you know, I'll fucking figure that out at another point. I'm not too concerned about it. If it works, it works. And then I run the wires underneath the body along the frame here. Again, don't mind the rust on literally everything. It's just Canada. That's just kind of how it works. All the way back, obviously, as I mentioned, into the back of the camper. Jesus fuck, could your truck be any goddamn louder? Yeah. So the main things that I need to update everybody on right now is, you know, how is this DC to DC charger working? It's working great. I get about, on initial startup, I get about 300 watts of charging, and then with continuous driving over the course of like 45 minutes to an hour and 10, it'll drop down to about 250, 260. It's important to know that the charger will cycle every 120 seconds to ensure that the voltage needs are being met. And if they are, then obviously it just continues. The one thing I don't know, I've seen to have some experience with it this week or this past month, and I've been driving. When it charges up to 100%, I believe it's supposed to float charge, but the problem is it doesn't say that on the app. And so when I'm looking at the app, the voltage and the wattage will drop to 0 at 100% and won't kick back in unless the truck's been parked and I've lost, you know, a couple of percentages of battery. So if I'm at like 100% and it drops down to 68 or 55, obviously it'll kick back in. If it's at 99 to 100, or even in some cases this past week it was at like 89 to 100, it didn't kick back in initially. It took a little bit of time. So I don't know if that's just something built into it to check to make sure that it's working, or if it's just a reset thing. Look through the manual, it seems to be normal, it seems to be okay. It's not throwing any errors or codes. So, and also when you guys are doing this, if you're watching this video and you're doing it and you're not a professional and you're an idiot like me, then it's important how you hook it up. Obviously you want to start with the starter battery and then the house battery. One of the other issues I was having was the house battery was being recognized by the controller as the main battery. And so I would have to disconnect the battery in the house, like here, back here, reconnect it up front, so that way the unit, the DC unit, would realize, oh, this is the battery I'm supposed to be drawing the initial power from to provide it to the house battery. So, and yeah, I've made several different little mistakes. Let me see if I can zoom in. I don't want to crawl back in and out of here. So like I said, those butt connectors that are being used by the DC kit that are provided in the kit, they're good. They take a long time to heat up, and it's just a pain in the ass. And I was very impatient. I wanted to get this done because I was tired of waiting around and doing nothing. And I recognize that there's a right way and a wrong way to do things, and I tend to do things kind of in between. Let's be honest. I'm like, if I throw it together and it doesn't blow up or catch fire, it's fine. So I am going to clean this up at some point, especially that rust. Again, it's an eyesore, I know. As for everything else, the bench needs to be fixed as well. Obviously, I've got that bodega fridge that I was telling you about. It is technically 1 quart larger than my previous fridge from Bouge RV, but it isn't as deep. So obviously if you want to have orange juice, if you want to have bottles of pop, things like that, it's not going to fit in there unless you lay it on the side, in which case it's going to go flat. So kind of a win-lose for some people. The bench, janky as shit. It's going to be rebuilt with 2x3s and feature a proper plug. Right now I'm having an issue where I'm driving around and the fridge wants to go whoop across the floor. Luckily there's feet on the fridge that stop it from doing that, but the plug outlet that I've installed at the back as well for the 12-volt socket is also hitting and rubbing the back of the fridge, so the fridge can't slide all the way in like I intended it to. That's something that I'm going to pull out and probably address today. If not today, it'll be this weekend coming, just because I've got a bunch of other work and stuff I really should be doing. Actual work, like work, not fun build your truck camper work. So that's where we're at with that. So while I was out here today, I started to get really unmotivated to make content. I think sometimes life is just funny that way. But I went ahead and decided that I'm going to pull apart all the stuff that was out from underneath the bench, all the storage, place it over here. And then, I think I'm going to rebuild this probably this coming weekend. I didn't have the supplies and I didn't really have the money at the time. So I just threw something together, which, worked for what it was. But now that we're doing a little bit more serious of a trip, I want this to be comfortable. I don't want to worry about it falling apart. I don't want to worry about my shoddy workmanship because I was in a rush and I was impatient. And so it's going to get redone with some 2x3s. I'm going to use the bed panel for the bench still, and keep that the same, but I'm going to move it back, tuck it up to where the actual bed ends. Even though it's probably going to get still a little bit wet. I replaced part of the seal on the door here because the seal had failed, and that's nothing to do with Yuc CAN. It was just, when we did the install, it was really cold out. The seal didn't have time to set, and it just, all the glue underneath just melted away. So I replaced that myself. And yeah, all this stuff. This is all wiring and stuff that I'm going to use to help do my brother's DC to DC charger. And I'm going to, while the bench is out, I'm also going to deal with all the wiring issues that are in the back as well. Just getting them up out of the way into wire looms and hide wires. So yeah, we're coming along okay. Again, I appreciate you guys following along. I know I'm not the best guy to be making these videos, and sometimes I get really just down on my willingness to make content. And I think the other big problem is because I run out of motivation, I know I'm not putting out the content in a manner that I would like to see, or it's acceptable. I feel like I skip a lot of corners and stuff. And that's life. I'm human, and as I continue to do this, I have to remember to force myself to be more transparent, not necessarily because I'm lying about things, but just with myself in terms of coming out here and making content and just continuing to enjoy it for myself, and hope that, once in a while somebody will drop a like or follow, and that's good enough. So until next time, when the bench is rebuilt, I will see you guys later.